Hello and welcome to WITM, your home for content completely focused on the created characters of you, the WITM audience. If you're not a WITM member yet, but you would like to jump into the action, head on over to the WITM website. The link will be in the description. You can find an application page there, as well as information on how to become a WITM member. With that, let's get into today's episode number 19, where it is the Go Home 205 Live before Tribute to the Troops, and now in 4 days. And we are going to have the Cruiserweight Champion, WITM's Andrew, number one in the power rankings, Andrew, in action. And the game changed the card from what was originally set. I thought it didn't do that anymore, but apparently it does. And Andrew will now, instead of Grand Metalik, be taking on Rich Swann in the main event in a Falls Count Anywhere matchup. But before we get into that, Andrew will address Tribute to the Troops, where he will be competing in the main event, taking on Raw's Universal Champion Kevin Owens and SmackDown Live's WWE Champion Seth Rollins, where the winner of that match will earn their brand the main event of 3 of the Big 4 pay-per-views: Royal Rumble, SummerSlam, and Survivor Series. So let's hear what Andrew has to say. Alright, the Cruiserweight Champion, WITM's Andrew, is going to speak now. And for the most part, these are Andrew's own words, the real life person behind the Andrew character. I also want to quickly mention that Andrew, for those of you who may be newer to WITM, Andrew is my best friend, and he is also, I would consider, the vice president, really, of WITM. He's come up with so many outstanding ideas that we have used in WITM, including most of our major storylines. And he also gives me great ideas for his character, including the vast majority of this upcoming promo. So let's hear, in Andrew's own words, what he has to say about Tribute to the Troops. Let me get right down to business. Literally a couple of months ago, Mr. Vincent Kennedy McMahon himself thought he knew what the fans wanted and tried to terminate the Cruiserweight division. Fast forward a couple weeks later, and we are finding animosity between all brands. Cruiserweights jumping Raw and SmackDown superstars, and both of those brands jumping Cruiserweights. I'm starting to get sick and tired of Raw and SmackDown superstars saying that the only thing Cruiserweights are good for is jobbing to them. Which leads me to my second topic, Tribute to the Troops. We have a man who was recently ranked number 1 in the power rankings, named Kevin Owens. I saw him comment on Raw that facing me is like the equivalent of facing a small bug. And then we have Seth Rollins. It's funny how you mentioned, Seth, about the time when you and the rest of the Shield beat me in the Purity Society a few years ago at WrestleMania. Because if I recall, wasn't it you that I beat to win my very first Cruiserweight Championship? And didn't I constantly beat you in ECW too? And let's not forget, Seth, at Tribute to the Troops, you won't have your Shield to hide behind. So let me tell both of you a couple of things. I am the 4-time and currently reigning Cruiserweight Champion. And most importantly, I am Mr. Stamina. Kevin and Seth, let me ask you something. When you step in the ring with someone who is proudly representing the Cruiserweight division, in 205 Live, ask yourself, are you willing to push yourself to the limit to take me out? Kevin and Seth, when you step into that ring, you better be ready for Mr. Stamina to find the limit to your fatigue. And to sum this topic up, I might be a smaller guy, and I may not be a powerhouse or a big guy, or main event many pay-per-views, but I am going to win this match for the Cruiserweight division and for 205 Live. Believe it. Alright, so strong words from a confident Andrew heading into Tribute to the Troops. But for now, Andrew must turn his attention to his opponent for tonight, the main event of the Go Home 205 Live before Tribute to the Troops, the talented fan favorite Rich Swann. And that will be a hardcore Falls Count Anywhere match. So let's get that matchup underway.
And the tie-up,
Alright, and I don't know what that message was about that I just got. Once again, use of created content is not allowed for your parental controls. I guess it must be because I'm downloading a patch or something. I don't have any parental controls on my account. So, I guess we're not going to get to see the entrances for this match, and we're going to get right to it. Andrew and Rich Swann faced off recently as part of a Fatal 4-Way that also included Drew Gulak and Jack Gallagher on main event, and that match was won by Rich Swann. So, will Andrew be able to handle Rich Swann here on 205 Live in the main event? And Andrew, a man who once upon a time was called a hardcore icon, and remember, for those of you who saw Season 2, the former COO of ECW wasting no time making this a hardcore match. He has himself a sledgehammer. Maybe paying a little homage to the general manager of 205 Live, Triple H. Of course, the sledgehammer, Triple H's signature weapon. Very nice maneuver there from Rich Swann. The wheelbarrow Hurricane Rana, I think would be the term.
I can't help but think of his risk of
huge running clothesline there from Andrew, who currently sits #1 at the top of the power rankings, and would love to take that ranking and momentum with him into a crucial match at Tribute to the Troops. Springboard forearm from Andrew. They've been looking for a rolling knee bar there, but a reversal from Rich Swann, who of course would love to get a non-title victory here over Andrew and rise up those rankings for the Cruiserweight Championship. Swann targeting the arm of Andrew, trying to neutralize some of that power. Forces Andrew to one knee. And there's a big DDT to force Andrew back on the canvas. Swann, a fan favorite on 205 Live, starting to get fired up and firing up the WWE Universe. Andrew avoids the stomp. Reversal from Swann, who's putting on a decent showing so far against the Cruiserweight Champion. Nice roundhouse there to force Andrew on that bottom rope. Swann goes for cover. Is he going to pull off an upset here?
That was nowhere near.
No, Andrew powers out at 1.5, and Swann in disbelief. He thought he had himself an upset victory over the Cruiserweight Champion. Swann remains in control, forces Andrew on the ropes. Swann, is he thinking of taking a page out of Andrew's own playbook here? Andrew's on the outside. What's Swann thinking? Indeed he is. Suicide dive out of Andrew's own playbook, trying to make a statement against the Cruiserweight Champion. And this is Falls Count Anywhere, so Swann going immediately for the cover.
That was close, so close.
But Andrew powers out at 2. Swann once again in shock. And hopefully we get a better camera angle here soon. Can't really see what's going on very well. So I'll do my best to commentate. Reversal from Andrew. That's going to get Andrew fired up. Andrew no longer a fan favorite on 205 Live after turning heel recently as part of a feud with Grand Metalik, but still will have the support of 205 Live and the rest of the Cruiserweight division behind him when he battles to defend their honor at Tribute to the Troops. And out of nowhere is that devastating flatline, even more devastating on the outside. And Andrew goes for cover and defeats Rich Swann in a fairly quick fashion in a match that was largely dominated by Rich Swann to pick up yet another victory. Andrew will keep that momentum going heading into Tribute to the Troops. Alright, so on the replay there, we get a little bit better look of what transpired. Rich Swann with a suicide dive, a move that Andrew has used to put away opponents in Falls Count Anywhere matches several times in the past. But even though Swann dominated much of the match, it only took one flatline. That move that has single-handedly gotten Andrew several victories to keep Andrew's momentum going, and he will go into Tribute to the Troops unless he has a match on main event and loses with as much momentum as he possibly can and number one in the power rankings. Alright, and let's see what transpired prior to that match on 205 Live. Enzo Amore with a victory over Mustafa Ali. Grand Metalik, Andrew's original opponent, defeats Jack Gallagher. In triple threat action, Lince Dorado defeated Tony Nese with Cedric Alexander taking a no decision. Arya Daivari defeated Drew Gulak in their rivalry. And Andrew defeated Rich Swann in the main event, as we just witnessed. And we will see momentarily how that affects the rankings on 205 Live. Enzo Amore defeated Mustafa Ali in an upset as the person at the bottom of the rankings defeated the number one contender. So Enzo to number 14. And my patch is ready. So that's good. Mustafa Ali fell to number 2. Grand Metalik, the new number one contender, defeated Jack Gallagher. We just moved Metalik up. And Gallagher falls to number 12. Lince Dorado defeated Tony Nese with no decision for Cedric Alexander. Dorado moves up to number 8. Nese falls to number 4. And Alexander with a no decision remains at number 6. Arya Daivari defeated Drew Gulak. Daivari moves up to number 10. Gulak falls to number 6. And Andrew defeated Rich Swann. Andrew is already champion, and Swann falls to number 10. So quite a shakeup in the Cruiserweight rankings, with a lot of the people in the top 5 who were booked struggling. Andrew's top 5 contenders to his Cruiserweight Championship are now number 1, Grand Metalik, number 2, Mustafa Ali, number 3, Akira Tozawa, number 4, Tony Nese, and number 5, Cedric Alexander. Alright. And normally we would advance to NXT and review the card for the next show and see if Corey is in action. However, because the new patch just released, that should give me access to the NXT pack now, which will contain several superstars, including that are part of NXT, including Corey's tag team partner, Drew McIntyre, an official model for him. So I'm going to wait until I have those DLC set and ready to go, and we will reveal the NXT card in the next episode and see if Corey and Drew McIntyre, the chosen ones, will be making their debut as a tag team in the next episode. If not, we'll see you on either main event with Andrew and Cruiserweight action or at Tribute to the Troops. So that is going to do it for episode number 19 of WITM. We hope you enjoyed today's episode. If you did, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Hit that notification bell so you are alerted when new WITM episodes are released. And the man you saw in action, Andrew, has his own YouTube channel. It's called Andrew Spud Strong, where he talks a little bit about veganism. Don't worry, he's not the pushy kind. And how he is going to spend one full year eating nothing but potatoes. He's already 1 month in. And just general life tips as well. So, like I said, Andrew does a ton to help out WITM, so why not do something for him and go hit that subscribe button over on his channel. That does it for episode 19. Until number 20, this is Corey with WITM Car Wrestling, signing off.